Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and there's a lot to cover today. The first thing I'll get out of the way is Brad Garlinghouse had tweeted this yesterday. Last year, Ripple and I sued YouTube for failing to enforce its own policies by allowing fake accounts impersonating my and Ripple's verified accounts to conduct XRP giveaway scams. We've now come to a resolution to work together to prevent, detect, and take down these scams. Social platforms are starting to acknowledge that their role in allowing crypto scams to persist and recognize the need to be a part of the solution. Anyway, bottom line is Ripple and YouTube are going to now be working together to keep some of the scams tamped down. Okay, here's something more important than that. Jeremy Hogan had retweeted, this was last night, the SEC versus Ripple. SEC responds to letters from the defendants. The letters we've been showing over the last week, SEC has now responded. And I'm not going to read all of that because I'm not a lawyer and he is. So his quick summary is what I like. 3 quick thoughts on this. The SEC wants to remove Ripple's fair notice defense because they are worried about it. It would be a blow to Ripple if it is removed. But this is the big one to me. The SEC wants it done quick because there are facts they don't want to come out in discovery. This is what I've said in the past, just reading between the lines on all of this. I think the SEC is terrified. I think Jay Clayton's probably terrified if any of the communication, the real communications, ever got out about Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think that probably makes them shake in their boots because this thing reeks, and I do mean reeks, like a landfill of politics. Through and through and through. That's the thing. And I've told you before, I think this is literally goes one of 2 ways. Either Jay Clayton and the SEC under him are a part of some kind of political headhunt here, or they're all playing on the same team. And it was and the lawsuit was needed. It's one of those 2. It's not in the middle because there's way too many political things going on here, and the way this was gone about would not be the way you would go about it unless you were trying to set a trap instead of do your job and protect investors. You just wouldn't. Okay, now yesterday I was on the Link to Global Investor Conference, and there were some other guys there, and this was a question. Tim Draper, the billionaire Tim Draper, who is a major Bitcoin maximalist, but I mean, anytime you talk to him, he immediately steers the conversation back to Bitcoin. I've always believed with him and some others that they see Bitcoin as their first lick, and that makes sense in a way, but Tim Draper's at least one of the ones who is honest about what the others are. In this clip, he more or less gives his the Tim Draper prediction on how he thinks this SEC lawsuit with Ripple is going to come to an end. So let me turn the volume on. Here you go.
I think we're going to find a more balanced. I think it's going to kind of, those things can go either way, but I think that there will be some sort of middle ground and it will wash over. I think there'll be something where they kind of go, okay, let's solve it in this way, because you don't want to lose the ability for Ripple to operate. They're the bank rails for a lot of transactions.
Tim Draper knows.
So I don't think that people are going to. I think they'll recognize there's real value.
Tim Draper knows, and here's the deal. The last time I got to ask Tim Draper a question, I asked him if he owned XRP. And nobody, to my knowledge, had ever directly asked him that before. And I find it interesting and telling that Tim Draper talks about Bitcoin and wears a Bitcoin tie 99.9% of the time, and he'll talk about anything Bitcoin. And in all of these conversations, every time he was asked a question about this Ripple SEC lawsuit, he, and I do mean immediately, steered it right back to Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin really has nothing to do with XRP. They're not even in the same category. They're not even in the same league in terms of digital assets, and everybody knows it. Tim Draper knows it. Tim Draper also said something in there that you don't ever hear him say. He got kind of specific. He knows that he knows that Ripple's about the payment rails, and he knows how important Ripple is, but he doesn't ever talk about it. And when it comes up, he goes straight back to Bitcoin as fast as possible, almost as if there's some fear to not let Ripple and XRP be talked about too much. So yesterday I decided that I would ask him, Tim, and I did this to illustrate a point. A lot of people, when the SEC lawsuit came out, oh, I'm selling my XRP. And I've seen a lot of people, yeah, I'm paring back my holdings of XRP. So just to make you understand, because I've always looked at this space as I'm putting my money beside the wealthy people's money. That's where I'm placing my bets. And the one thing that these guys will not talk about, that's where I want to put my money more than anything, because the way the game's played is the things they're not talking about are the things they're placing their money on now. Later, when they start talking about them, it's too freaking late. Okay? So watch this. This is when I asked him, I was basically being funny in a way. So did you, when the lawsuit came out, did you sell all of your XRP? So I asked him the question, and his answer was pretty funny.
Thank you for that answer. And he said, yeah, you have a question?
I do, and you guys both kind of just answered it, but the best way for me to ask this, Tim, last time I was on here, I asked you if you owned XRP, and you said you did. And what will really answer my question is, when the SEC lawsuit came out, did you sell all of your XRP?
Oh no. I'm on the whole industry. I am very optimistic. I think we're going to see when people say, are you going to sell your Bitcoin? I say, into what?
I thought that was pretty funny, but as you see there, he steered it right back to Bitcoin. Now, I want to remind everybody that this Link 2 conference that I was in, it's going on today too, and that you can go to their Twitter feed there at Link 2 Inc. and click on this, and you can go. I think you can still register and go in there. Now, speaking of that, Mr. B had tweeted this out yesterday. Congrats to JP Tierrett and Uphold. I heard today in a conference that you did more business in February than all of last year. Wow, that was said in that conference. So here's the interesting thing about that. Right now, Coinbase is getting all the headlines. Meanwhile, Uphold's one of the only platforms that is still selling XRP. Well, when Uphold, the private equity has been for sale on that Link 2 platform. When I first saw it, I think it was around 45 cents. As of yesterday, it was on there at like $3. And that's, shoot, if I was betting, I'd say that's way undervalued. If Coinbase was valued at $350 to $375 the other day, which I think I saw, Uphold's not as big, but I think Coinbase has like 43 million. And don't quote me, but I want to say that Uphold has around 5 million or so users. I think I saw that somewhere. Do that math, folks. Okay, now yesterday evening I was tired. I was about to have to take my son to baseball practice, and I was done with digital assets for the day. And then I saw Anthony Pompliano, the ultimate Bitcoin maxi. I saw him tweet that he was about to be on CNBC, because that's what CNBC does. That all they will do is trot out people who will talk about Bitcoin. They don't want to hear the truth about the real digital assets like XRP. So for now, the powers that be at CNBC just want people to hear about Bitcoin. So they trotted him out, and I got something I was not expecting. This guy tore Anthony Pompliano a new one, and he told the truth left and right. Now, some of the things Anthony Pompliano was saying were the truth, and I will tell you which is which here. Okay, here we go.
About here in terms of
let me jack my volume up to make sure you can hear this real quick. All right, let's do that again.
About here in terms of the stock market is this horrible thing. You just had a previous segment talking about the amazing companies that make up the stock market, like Disney. And they have 100 million people who are now paying for Disney Plus, which did not exist a year ago. Disney Plus, by the way, is all down. Stop talking about up or down in the day. Look at the arc of history. Disney will be here in 100 years. We don't know that Bitcoin will be here in 10 years. Be very careful, Pomp, with your money. This is advice from me to you, Pomp. Take half your money out of Bitcoin and put it in Disney and Google and Amazon, which will guarantee to be here in 10 years. You have lost your mind if you think that those companies are farcical. People are spending much more time consuming and using the products that Google and Disney make than Bitcoin, which has zero use case other than speculation and store of money. I'm telling you this because I care about you, Pomp. Put some of your money, please, that you've made from Bitcoin in Disney. Promise me you'll put 10% of it in. That's all I'm asking you to do.
Well, there's a couple of things in there. The first is he's 1,000% correct, and Pompliano completely ignores this. Bitcoin has no use case. That's why they call it a store of value. It's dinosaur technology, and he knows it, okay? He knows that and that's why he won't talk about it. And I was telling somebody yesterday, any of you who have been around for a while, you've seen how the market works. Anytime anything gets close to Bitcoin and the Bitcoiners start to get nervous because they know that there are technologies that are 10 times better than Bitcoin, they start attacking them. It's happened with XRP for 3 years. XRP, when Bitcoin earlier this year started going up, XRP started going up like crazy, got to about 70 cents, and what do you know? There's an SEC lawsuit. This is the same type of things that's happened with XRP. It's happened with XRP for 3 years. All of a sudden, Cardano starts surging, and yesterday I saw a tweet where Mike Novogratz tweets out intentionally to say, why is Cardano going up? This thing's not going to do anything. And Charles Hoskinson, who created Cardano, replied to him and said, well, let's talk about it. That conversation I'd pay money to see, because Charles Hoskinson, from the standpoint of the technology of what a Cardano is versus Bitcoin, he would make Mike Novogratz look like a buffoon, a literal buffoon. And that's why Mike Novogratz will not get on and have that conversation. He will not have that conversation because he will look like an idiot. And so would Pompliano. Any of them that are trying to compare, it's like the time when Pompliano had Brad Garlinghouse on, and he's like, well, yeah, China can ban Bitcoin, but it can't control Bitcoin. It's like, what? So anyway, but the other thing the other point I want to make in this is this guy's like telling you, buy Disney, buy stocks. Well, I disagree with that too. I wouldn't put my money anywhere near the stock market right now, because they've pumped the feds have pumped the stock market up for the last 10, 15 years by printing money. Pomp is right about that, okay? The stock market, if anything's ready for a collapse, is the stock market. But Bitcoin is the same thing's been going on with Bitcoin, and I'll show you that in a second. But let's show you a little bit more of this. Watch this.
Advantage in the military bases we've placed around the world for the last 200 years, and the fact that we own the world's greatest companies. I do think it's a very real technology that's combined with massive market manipulation, speculation. And so for somebody like Pomp, who's got, I think, Pomp, correct me if I'm wrong, you have 90% of your net worth in Bitcoin. This is a religion, and it's a bit crazy. For a company to have some of their corporate treasury in cryptocurrency isn't crazy. I would keep it at a small amount. I would be very careful that you don't need that. So I wouldn't put 100% or 90% of your treasury like Pomp has done. But Pomp's you're a 30-year-old guy with no kids, and you don't have to, worry about it. So just be very careful out there, folks, because there is a decent chance that another technology will emerge that is better than Bitcoin. And when that happens, you can see just as easily as people
ding, ding, ding,
poured speculative money into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically, you can see the flows go out of it.
You could see the flows go out of it when the better technology shows up. At some point, that's going to happen, folks. And when it happens, it's not going to be Bitcoin. It's going to be the digital assets that have a real use case, these smart contract platforms. And it's not going to be proof of work, because proof of work does not work. Here's the other clip.
And so what we're watching is investors are racing to find an asset where they can go that is unmanipulated, transparent, programmatic, unmanipulated Bitcoin. Bitcoin
God starts laughing at him.
serves that purpose, right?
Bitcoin's not manipulated,
right? The monetary policy of Bitcoin is as transparent and programmatic as they come. I can tell you exactly how much Bitcoin. Nobody can tell me how many dollars were printed today, how many dollars were taken out of circulation. Nobody knows. The system isn't transparent. It's completely, we're just watching the Federal Reserve and elected officials pump liquidity into a market, and they have outlawed bear markets. That's not how markets are supposed to work.
Now, I agree with what Pomp is saying right there. But the problem, here's the problem, is that I don't think Bitcoin was created by some guy in a bathrobe. I think that the feds that have done this market manipulation and have been printing this money, someone created Bitcoin for the purpose, I think, the worry that that inflation would kick in as a result of what the feds are doing, and you wanted a place for it to go that you could control. Then you spend the next 10 years saying, oh, well, this can't be controlled. This is for money laundering and terrorists. Meanwhile, it's imminently controllable and more importantly, trackable. And then down the road, all of a sudden, oh, it's Bitcoin, 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 and then all of a sudden it's not Bitcoin. And then that money can be directed wherever it wants it to be directed. I smell something bad coming, folks.
Bitcoin provides is a transparent, programmatic monetary policy that no one in the world controls. And investors have had enough, and they are going to seek refuge in something that cannot be changed at the whim of a government, an organization, or an individual. And that's why Bitcoin's win.
Why is it manipulated, Jason?
Well, this is the important part right here. When he said he thought it was manipulated, I thought that he was about to bring up Tether. He did not. Listen to what he says, and then I'll show you what the real deal is.
It just historically has been, because it's anonymous and we don't even know who owns the bulk of these Bitcoins. And it's completely possible that governments will make a very reasonable decision to curtail the usage of it and create their own. So
do you
the
think
US
that's
dollar
coming?
becomes a cryptocurrency. It's quite possible that people will not want to be in this one. At any point in time, China could just decide that, hey, just like, Jack Ma is not allowed to run Ant Financial anymore, or we're just going to make him disappear potentially for some period of time. China could just say, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. No more cryptocurrency in our country. You have to use the renminbi cryptocurrency. So there is just a ton of risk factors.
So there you have that. Now, this was, but I'm shocked that he didn't bring up Tether, because that's ground zero. Gator Trader sent me this. Now, you want to talk about somebody who's smart and very reasonable and connected all the way to the heights of government? Jim Rickards. Listen to what he says. This thing is starting to go around now. Listen to this.
The settlement yesterday with the New York State Attorney General, where Tether admitted fraud, paid a fine. But here's what's going on with Tether. So Tether says they call themselves a stable coin, meaning you give them $1, they give you a tether, and they say 1 tether equals $1. Okay, so so you get your tether. Why do people want the tether? Well, they're using it in exchanges, not some of the couple of the more reputable exchanges, which do not accept tether, by the way, but there are all kinds of exchanges around the world that don't have any money laundering rules, don't have know your customer rules, are not regulated, etc. And people are using the tether to go buy Bitcoin. Sometimes they offer leverage, etc., and they're bidding up the price of Bitcoin. Now, just to kind of take that in reverse, so what happens when people want to sell the Bitcoin for tether and then cash in the tether for the dollars? Where are the dollars? There's no evidence that they have the dollars. In fact, they don't. They just kind of print tether as it goes along. This is the greatest Ponzi in history. It makes Bernie Madoff look like a prudent banker. People are too naive to understand what's going on. This is happening in, I don't know, teenagers in Africa on cell phones or whatever, or Asia, or probably millennials in the United States, etc. But the point is, it's not worth anything. I tried buying a cup of coffee with Bitcoin. You can't do it. And there used to be one coffee shop in Brooklyn they always pointed to. They said, you can go buy coffee there, but I think it's boarded up now. So you can't spend it. It's an open-ended speculation. If you like it, go for it, be my guest. But it's a fantastic Ponzi scheme being driven by the fraud in Tether. And if you want to buy Bitcoin, do your homework and study what's going on in Tether. Look at where the Bitcoin purchases come from. They come from Tether. They don't come from hard dollars. And Tether says they take the hard dollars and they back it up, but they've never shown their bank account. They claim to have more dollars and their bank is in the Bahamas, but the number they claim, which has never been audited and never been visible, is greater than the combined dollar banking assets of the total Bahamian banking system by a factor of 10. So you tell me where the dollars are. They're long gone. They're being skimmed off by the billions, and these people are going to be left hung out to dry. So, as we say in New Jersey, enjoy.
Wow. And then here's Anthony Pompliano as a by the way, December 22nd, 2017. Tether is the biggest racket ever. Highly doubt it is actually pegged 1-to-1. So he knows. Now he can ignore it now, but he knows. Now, XRP sent me this. Kim.com, who's like this genius guy who created what was it called, Mega Upload. He's like worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He's in New Zealand. The government came after him, but he's like one of these genius tech guys. He says, and he was originally like a Bitcoin guy. He's just being honest about it now. Let's be honest. The Bitcoin core team decided for Bitcoin to be a store of value in an attempt to avoid getting regulated into a dark corner by the U.S. government. But even as a store of value, Bitcoin competes with USD. There's no upside for the government. The crypto war is inevitable. And then this guy says, gotta brace the tanks. If it's too big to fight. Blockchain adoption across real life industries is needed urgently to avoid repeat crisis cycles. Okay, and then there was this to wrap this up. This guy tweeted this out yesterday. It was an article from Cointelegraph. Hosting a CBDC, only one of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or XRP can do it, says report. Yes, because XRP has always been the one. It was never Bitcoin, and it was never proof of work Ethereum, because proof of work does not work. I don't know how many times I need to say it. I'm going to finish this by showing you this. Looks like Rob Gronkowski, formerly of the Patriots and now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, Super Bowl champions, right? From XRP Crypto Wolf, the NFL meets NFTs in new collection from Rob Gronkowski. Tom Brady's favorite target, Rob Gronkowski, is releasing his own Super Bowl NFT collection with help from OpenSea. This is getting huge. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family about the one XRP. Thanks for listening.